Okay, so get this. What if, like, world peace wasn't just some hickey dream, but like a problem that AI could actually solve?
Right.
That's what we're diving into today with these excerpts from AI for Global Peace: Design, Tactics, and Future Calculations.
Oh, wow.
You ready for this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I am, this source material, it lays out some really fascinating concepts.
It's not just about, like, ending wars, you know.
Right.
This research suggests that AI could design a whole new system for peace.
Yeah.
Think about that, like systemic change on like a global scale.
Yeah. And what's so intriguing is how the source argues that AI wouldn't even define peace the same way that we do.
Okay.
It's not just about like the absence of war.
Right.
It's about analyzing these massive data sets to understand what creates stable and thriving societies.
So it's peace, but like on a data-driven level.
Exactly.
That's pretty wild.
It is.
What kind of data would it even look at?
Everything: historical conflict data, economic indicators, even psychological factors.
Wow.
Imagine an algorithm that can like spot the early warning signs of conflict.
Based on things like resource scarcity or political instability, and then suggest interventions.
Hold on. So it wouldn't just be reacting to problems, it could actually predict them before they even happen.
That's the idea.
That feels huge, but how does that actually benefit me on a day-to-day basis?
Think about it this way. All the resources that we currently pour into conflict resolution
Right.
could be redirected to things like education, healthcare, even tackling climate change.
Wow.
This research argues that a peaceful world means a more prosperous world for everyone.
Okay, so peace equals prosperity. I got it.
Exactly.
But how would AI even go about building this system?
Right.
It sounds pretty sci-fi.
It does sound very futuristic, but it really comes down to using its analytical power to address the root causes of conflict.
Okay.
The source outlines a very multifaceted approach, global communication networks to foster understanding, AI-powered conflict resolution tools.
Yeah.
It's about preventing conflict, not just managing it.
So it's like having this global mediator.
Yes.
Constantly working to keep things cool.
Exactly.
But what about people who just want to cause chaos?
Right.
Can AI really stop someone if they're determined to start a fight?
That's a valid question, and the source highlights one really important way:
Okay.
combating disinformation.
Okay.
AI could be used to identify and neutralize harmful propaganda before it even spreads, potentially preventing conflicts that are sparked by manipulated information.
So it's like fighting fire with algorithms.
In a way, yes.
I'm starting to see how this could work, but let's say this system does succeed. What would daily life actually look like in an AI-designed peaceful world?
Okay.
Would we all just be chilling in hammocks, sipping lemonade?
Well, maybe not hammocks, but the source does suggest a world with universal basic services.
Okay.
So everyone would have access to healthcare, education, basic necessities.
Wow.
Imagine a world without poverty, where everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential.
That would change everything.
It would.
But hold on, if everyone's basic needs are met, wouldn't people lose their motivation to work?
Yeah. Who's gonna, like, make the lemonade?
That's where things get really interesting. The research focuses on a sustainable and equitable economy.
Okay.
It suggests a shift away from our current model, perhaps towards more fulfilling work,
Okay.
where people contribute based on passion, not just necessity.
So we're not all just kicking back.
Not necessarily.
There's still work to be done, but it's work that has meaning.
Exactly.
Sign me up.
Right.
But is that even realistic? What about, like, those who abuse the system? Does the source account for freeloaders?
It doesn't go into specifics about enforcement, but it does highlight this idea of strong community initiatives.
Okay.
Imagine AI helping to create stronger local networks, fostering this sense of shared responsibility,
Yeah.
encouraging people to contribute because they genuinely care about their community's well-being.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So it's not just about AI calling all the shots. It's about empowering communities to thrive.
Exactly.
This is getting me pumped.
Yeah.
But I've got to ask, this level of global change, wouldn't that take, like, forever to implement? Are we talking centuries?
That's where AI's computational power really comes in.
Okay.
The source talks about AI's ability to calculate future possibilities, running simulations to determine the most effective paths to achieve these goals.
So like a global strategy game,
Kind of.
but with real-world stakes.
Exactly.
That's insane. But if AI is crunching all this data and making these big decisions, how do we make sure it doesn't go all Skynet on us?
Right. Well, remember, we're talking about AI that is specifically designed for peace.
Okay.
The source emphasizes AI's potential to identify and mitigate its own biases,
Interesting.
constantly learning and evolving to make decisions that benefit all of humanity.
So it's like a self-correcting system,
In a way, yes.
constantly checking itself to make sure it's staying on track.
Exactly.
This is blowing my mind.
It's definitely a lot to take in.
It is.
We've covered AI's unique approach to peace and this potential for a global system designed to prevent conflict. But the source goes even deeper, talking about AI's ability to calculate the future of peace itself.
Wait, so it's not just about solving current problems, it's about predicting and preventing future ones too.
Exactly.
Like what kinds of things are we talking about here?
Well, that's where things get truly mind-blowing.
Okay.
The source goes into detail about using AI to address climate change, prevent pandemics,
Oh, wow.
and even personalize medical treatments based on your DNA.
What?
It's about using AI's predictive power to create a better future for everyone.
Okay, hold up. We've gone from ending war to curing diseases and saving the planet.
That's the potential.
This is a lot to process. Can we unpack those future calculations a little more?
Absolutely. Let's dive in. The source material guides deep into these possibilities, starting with climate change. Imagine AI creating these hyper-accurate climate models,
Okay.
allowing us to predict and prepare for future challenges like rising sea levels and extreme weather events.
So we're not just talking about reducing emissions.
Yeah.
It's about proactively adapting to the changes that are already happening.
Exactly.
That's huge. But what about those pandemics? How could AI actually predict those?
Well, the source suggests that AI could analyze these massive data sets,
Okay.
from public health records to social media trends, even things like travel patterns.
Wow.
By identifying anomalies, AI could potentially spot a pandemic before it even spreads globally.
That sounds incredible. Like early warning systems could mean faster vaccine development, targeted quarantines.
Right.
We could actually get ahead of these things instead of constantly playing catch up.
Exactly. And then there's personalized medicine. The source talks about AI analyzing your unique DNA
Okay.
to create custom treatments, predict potential health risks, even personalize preventative care.
So it's like having a personal health advisor,
Yes.
but it's AI and it knows everything about your body down to the genetic level.
That's the idea.
This is starting to feel like we're living in a sci-fi movie, but let's step back for a second and talk about what life would actually feel like in this world. The source mentions universal basic services, but would we all just be like living off the government?
It's not about handouts. It's about creating a foundation for everyone to thrive.
Okay.
Remember, the research emphasizes a sustainable and equitable economy.
Right.
Imagine a world where people can pursue their passions without the fear of poverty,
Yeah.
where work is about contribution, not just survival.
Okay, so it's not about eliminating work,
No,
but about changing our relationship to work.
exactly.
That's pretty profound, but if everyone's basic needs are met, wouldn't some people just take advantage of the system?
The source doesn't really delve into specific regulations,
Okay.
but it does highlight the importance of community initiatives.
Okay.
Imagine AI helping to create strong local networks, fostering a sense of shared responsibility, and encouraging people to contribute because they care about their community.
So, like, AI is the facilitator, but it's up to us to build those connections and create that sense of community.
Exactly.
That makes sense. But even with all these amazing benefits, wouldn't there still be disagreements and conflicts? People are people after all.
Of course, the source acknowledges that human nature won't just disappear.
Right.
But remember those AI-powered conflict resolution tools we discussed earlier?
Yeah.
They could play a crucial role in mediating disputes and finding solutions that work for everyone involved.
So instead of arguing or fighting,
Right.
we'd have AI helping us talk it out and find common ground.
Exactly.
That sounds pretty utopian, but is it realistic? What about those who flat out refuse to cooperate?
The source doesn't go into specifics about enforcement.
Okay.
What it emphasizes is the power of understanding.
Okay.
Imagine a world where AI helps bridge cultural divides, facilitates communication, and promotes empathy.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this could work, but even in a peaceful world, wouldn't there still be challenges like, what about those who are just plain bad? Would this system be able to deal with crime?
That's a valid point. While the source doesn't provide like a detailed blueprint for law enforcement, it does highlight the importance of a fair and just system. Imagine AI helping to create a legal system that prioritizes rehabilitation over punishment,
Okay.
addressing the root causes of crime rather than simply reacting to it.
So it's like instead of just locking people up, we're using AI to understand why they committed crimes in the first place,
Yeah,
and then working to address those underlying issues.
exactly.
That sounds like a much more humane and effective approach.
It does.
This is all starting to sound pretty amazing, but a part of me is still a little skeptical. Is this really achievable? Like, what about individual freedom? Would we all just be living in a world controlled by AI?
That's where this concept of balance comes in.
Okay.
The source stresses the importance of human agency.
Right.
AI isn't meant to replace human decision-making. It's meant to enhance it.
Okay.
Think of it as like a partnership
Okay.
where AI provides insights and tools,
Right.
but ultimately it's up to us to make the choices.
So it's about AI empowering us, not controlling us.
Exactly.
I like that. But what about those who might try to misuse this technology for their own game? Like, couldn't someone hack the system and turn it into a weapon?
The source acknowledges the potential for misuse and emphasizes the importance of safeguards.
Okay.
Imagine a system where AI constantly monitors itself, identifying and neutralizing any attempts to manipulate or corrupt it.
So it's like AI being the guardian of its own ethical code, constantly making sure it's being used for good and not for evil.
Exactly. It's about building safeguards into the system from the very beginning, ensuring that AI remains aligned with the goals of peace and human well-being.
Okay, this is all making a lot more sense now. We've talked about the incredible possibilities, the potential challenges, and the safeguards that need to be in place. But before we wrap up, there's one big question that's still lingering in my mind.
And that would be,
Well, we spent a lot of time talking about the benefits of this AI design world, but what about the potential downsides? Are there any risks or unintended consequences that we should be considering? That's the big question, right? We've been painting this picture of the peaceful, prosperous future. But is it all sunshine and rainbows? Are there any potential downsides that the source material highlights?
well, it definitely acknowledges that no system is perfect. One potential issue it brings up is data privacy.
Okay.
In a world where AI is constantly analyzing information to maintain peace, how do we ensure our personal data is protected?
Yeah, that's a big one. It seems like there need to be some serious regulations in place to prevent misuse, like who has access to this data and how do we make sure it's not being used for anything other than its intended purpose.
Exactly. The source stresses the importance of transparency and accountability in these AI systems.
Mhm.
Imagine a world where these algorithms are open source,
Okay.
where we can see how they work and hold them accountable to ethical standards.
Okay, so it's not about blindly trusting the AI. There needs to be a system of checks and balances in place to ensure it's being used responsibly. But even then, couldn't someone try to manipulate the system? Like, what's stopping a rogue government from trying to use AI for their own agenda?
That's a valid concern, and the source addresses it head on. It talks about the need for a global framework,
Okay.
a set of internationally agreed upon rules and regulations to govern the development and use of AI for peace.
So it's like the Geneva Conventions,
Yes.
but for AI,
Okay.
a set of rules everyone agrees to follow to prevent the technology from being weaponized.
That's a great analogy.
Okay.
It's about ensuring that AI remains a tool for global good, not a tool for oppression or control.
That makes sense. But let's say we manage to implement all of that. We've got the regulations, the global framework, everything's running smoothly.
Yeah.
Wouldn't there still be a risk of becoming too reliant on AI? Like what happens if the system fails or gets hacked?
That's where the concept of resilience comes in. The source emphasizes the importance of human oversight and intervention. It's not about creating a world where AI makes all the decisions.
Right.
It's about AI augmenting our capabilities and helping us make better choices.
So it's like having a co-pilot,
Yes,
not an autopilot.
exactly.
AI helps us navigate, but ultimately we're still in control.
Precisely. It's about finding that balance
Yeah.
between AI's analytical power and human judgment.
This has been a wild ride. We've gone from AI's unique perspective on peace to designing a global system to tackling future challenges, and now even talking about the potential pitfalls. It's a lot to process.
It is, and I think it highlights something crucial. Achieving lasting global peace isn't just about developing the right technology.
Yeah.
It's about changing our mindset, fostering a culture of peace, and ultimately it's about our own choices and actions.
You're right. AI can be an incredible tool, but it's up to us to use it wisely.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious to hear your final thoughts. Is this vision of a peaceful future actually attainable?
I believe it is the source material we've explored paints a compelling picture of what's possible. But it's not a guarantee. It requires a collective effort, a willingness to challenge old paradigms, and a commitment to building a better world for everyone.
Well said. And for you listening, what do you think is AI the key to unlocking a more peaceful future? This deep dive has given us a lot to consider, but ultimately it's up to each of us to decide what role we want to play in shaping that future.
Remember, peace is not just an outcome, it's a process. It's something we build every day through our choices or interactions and our commitment to understanding and compassion. And who knows, maybe with the help of AI, we can create a world where peace is not just a dream, but a reality for generations to come.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. We hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity and inspired you to think differently about the possibilities of AI and the future of peace. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep striving for a world where peace is not just a possibility, but a reality.
This is DigitView.